So, is it better to work for corporate chain restaurants or local restaurants as a line cook? An experience may vary depending on person and restaurant. Now, in my experience, there are pros and cons of both working in a corporate environment and working at a mom and pop restaurant or a local chain. And I'll probably be a little biased because I started out with local restaurants, worked my way up to corporate chain restaurants, learned the trade, and then went back to local restaurants after that. But in my personal opinion, if you're looking to get your foot in the door in cooking, you've never had a job before, or you've never had a culinary job before, honestly, corporate chains are not a bad place to start. Like, yes, you have Applebee's that literally does have a steam station, which is really just 6 microwaves stacked up on each other, and you're throwing bags in to prepare some of the food. But even at a place like that, or Red Robin, which I've spoken about, you're still learning some fundamentals of cooking with temperatures and different ingredients and learning the process of how orders come in and how food goes out of the kitchen. And the thing with corporate chain restaurants is that you're pretty much guaranteed your 40 hours and you're guaranteed somewhat fair pay. It may be a little less than what you're expecting, but at least you would know you can bring in a paycheck throughout the year. Now, the mom and pop local restaurant, that is really dependent on where you're working at. But there are some pros of that as well. Because if you work at a mom and pop shop, you probably learn how to get hands-on with cooking fresh local food better. Even some of the worst local restaurants still provide some of their own ingredients and learn how to prep those foods. However, unless it's a really successful local place, hours will probably vary during the slow winter season. You're probably going to be cut hours to about 32 to 34 hours a week. Secondly, local places usually depend on tips, including the back of house kitchen, are usually tipped out tips, and you maybe had a lower hourly rate because of that. And another thing is insurance and benefits, because that is honestly a factor. So many local places and mom and pop shops do not offer insurance, healthcare, dental, anything like that. Whereas with a chain restaurant, you at least get healthcare coverage if you want it, because the costs are going to be pretty high no matter where you're at. Now, once you get into management, that can also vary, where, you might have job security at the corporate chain and you might get a higher salary. But if you want to be a chef, go work for private, go work for a local restaurant, become a chef, have creativity, do your own menu. That's where you go after you have the knowledge gained from restaurants. And I've done a whole nother video on culinary school already. I'll never discourage education, just be aware that you're going to accrue a lot of debt for low pay if you go that route. But with that being said, if you want to hear about more restaurant tips or places that I've worked, leave a comment below.